Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're a fan of coins or just curious about some of the most valuable pieces of US currency, you've come to the right place. In today's video, we're going to dive into the world of rare and valuable coins, specifically for US coins that have captured the attention of collectors and numismatists alike. Let's get started with today's video. Make sure to watch till the end for all the details. Top 1. The year is 1975. America is coming off the heels of a tumultuous decade. The Vietnam War is winding down. Richard Nixon has just resigned as president due to the Watergate scandal, and the nation is navigating through economic uncertainty. Amid all this, there's a small, unassuming object that enters circulation. A coin that would go on to be the subject of immense fascination. A coin that would intrigue collectors, numismatists, and even the casual observer alike. The 1975 1-cent penny. But what makes this penny so special? How does a simple copper disc, weighing just 2.5 grams and measuring 19 millimeters in diameter, become one of the most sought-after and valuable coins in American numismatic history? You might be surprised to learn that the journey of the 1975 penny is one that blends a mix of political history, economic shifts, and a mysterious minting anomaly. To understand this unique penny, we have to take a step back in time. Let's look at the penny's origins, the United States Mint's decisions, and what happened to the 1975 pennies that made them stand out from the millions of other coins produced each year. The first penny, as we know it today, has been part of American currency since 1793, just a few years after the country's founding. The early pennies were quite different from what we see today, with a large image of Lady Liberty, quite striking and far more symbolic than the smaller, more familiar penny we hold in our hands. Over the centuries, the penny went through a number of different designs, most notably the Lincoln cent, which was introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln cent, with its familiar image of Lincoln on the obverse and the wheat stalks on the reverse, remained a mainstay in U.S. currency for decades. But in 1959, the design was altered to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse was redesigned with the iconic Lincoln Memorial, which is still in use on modern pennies to this day. This change marked a new era for the penny, a shift that would eventually lead to some rather unexpected developments in the 1970s. Now, in the early 1970s, America's economy was facing a number of challenges. The country was grappling with inflation, rising oil prices, and increasing government debt, which led to higher costs for just about everything, including the production of money. The United States Mint found itself in a position where it needed to find ways to reduce the cost of minting coins, particularly pennies, which were made primarily of copper. The price of copper was rising, and the Mint had to consider alternatives for its pennies to keep production costs under control. In 1973, the U.S. Mint began experimenting with new compositions for the penny. A penny made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc would continue to be minted until 1982. But in 1974, the Mint introduced a slightly different variation of the penny. This particular penny had a special distinction. Some of them were struck with a mint mark known as the no mint mark. For most of its history, the penny had been produced at 3 mints across the U.S. the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. Normally, pennies from Philadelphia and Denver would feature either no mint mark or a D for Denver. But a few pennies from 1975 were found without any mint mark, indicating they came from the Philadelphia Mint. The result was a coin with a unique and rare characteristic, a special variety of the 1975 penny that would eventually be dubbed the no mint mark penny. It wasn't long before numismatists, collectors, and those with an eye for rare coins began to take note. The scarcity of these coins, combined with their historical significance, created the perfect storm for a new era of penny collecting. But what really gave the 1975 penny its legendary status were the mistakes. You see, as part of the minting process, every penny was expected to have a clear mint mark that indicated where it was struck. However, in a rare case of error, the Philadelphia Mint issued several 1975 pennies with no mint mark at all. Some reports suggested that this oversight was due to a miscommunication within the mint itself, where the staff responsible for engraving the mint mark on the coin dies failed to do so, leaving some coins without the telltale D or S that would normally indicate where they were made. Now, the 1975 no mint mark penny is a rarity. It wasn't meant to be rare. After all, coins produced in Philadelphia typically have no mint mark, but the absence of a mint mark on these coins has made them incredibly valuable over time. Numismatists, especially those specializing in U.S. coinage, knew that something special was afoot when it came to this particular penny. While the no mint mark variety was more of an anomaly than a designed rarity, its scarcity would soon set it apart. At first, these pennies were mostly just seen as oddities, interesting for their slight difference. However, over the decades, as the world of coin collecting expanded, interest in these flawed pennies grew. By the early 21st century, their value began to climb, not because they were made from precious metals or because of any inherent rarity, but because they were part of the long, storied history of the United States Mint and, in a sense, a part of the country's economy at a time of great change. Fast forward to 2024, and the 1975 no mint mark penny has become one of the most coveted coins for collectors. This small mistake, this tiny irregularity, now commands astronomical prices at auctions. In fact, one such penny, in impeccable condition, has been sold for over $117,000. You might be wondering how a simple, everyday coin could climb to such heights, and the answer lies in its rarity, historical context, and the world of numismatics. What makes the 1975 penny especially valuable is its error status. Collectors aren't just interested in coins for their basic metal composition or design. No, they're drawn to coins with something unique. The 1975 penny is that something unique. It represents a tiny moment in history where the mint's operations didn't go as planned, and from that mistake arose a coin that would captivate collectors for years to come. In addition to its rarity, the condition of the coin matters immensely. Pennies that have been kept in pristine condition, without signs of wear or discoloration, are particularly valuable. A coin that has remained in near-perfect condition for nearly half a century is an incredible find for any collector. As with many other collectible coins, the value of a 1975 no mint mark penny increases dramatically depending on its grade, with higher grades fetching higher prices. So, how did a penny that started as just a small, mundane piece of currency rise to such prominence? It's a story of error, rarity, and the passionate world of coin collectors who value every little detail. It's about a small coin that tells the story of an era and reflects the delicate intricacies of minting. As we look to the future, the 1975 no mint mark penny serves as a reminder of the sometimes forgotten oddities of our nation's coinage. While it may seem like just a small, everyday penny to some, it represents so much more. A piece of history, a reminder of America's economic challenges in the 1970s, and a testament to how something as simple as a mistake can turn into a treasure. And so, the 1975 penny stands as a symbol of how even the most ordinary objects can carry great significance. For coin collectors, it's more than just a coin. It's a part of history, a link to the past, and a reminder of the little mistakes that can sometimes make a big difference. As we continue to collect, preserve, and study the coins of our nation's past, the story of the 1975 penny will remain an enduring chapter in the ever-expanding book of American numismatics. That it's a small coin, yes, but its story is anything but insignificant. So next time you find yourself holding a penny, remember that sometimes the smallest things have the biggest impact. And who knows, maybe you'll have a 1975 no mint mark penny in your pocket, waiting to make history. It's hard to imagine a time when a simple 5-cent coin, or nickel, could be worth more than the amount printed on it. But that's exactly what happened with a particular 2007 US 5-cent piece, one of the most unique and valuable nickels to ever be minted. The year 2007 might seem like just another year in the early 21st century, but it holds an important place in U.S. coinage history. Why? Because of a rare and remarkable minting error, one that would take years to fully understand. But when the discovery was made, it shocked the world of numismatics and turned an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. But before we get into the details of this amazing find, let's take a step back and appreciate the historical context surrounding U.S. coins leading up to 2007. To fully understand the significance of the 2007 5-cent piece, we need to look at the nickel's rich history. The U.S. 5-cent coin, commonly known as the nickel, was first introduced in 1866, shortly after the Civil War. It was designed by Chief Engraver of the U.S. Mint, James B. Longacre, and featured a bust of Lady Liberty on the obverse and a wreath on the reverse. Over time, the nickel design changed, but one of the most famous versions was the Buffalo nickel, introduced in 1913 and designed by artist James Earl Fraser. The image of a Native American and a buffalo would go on to become an iconic representation of American culture and coinage. Fast forward to the late 20th century, and the nickel has gone through several design changes. Most notably, in 1938, the design shifted to feature the famous portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, alongside an image of his home, Monticello, on the reverse. This design would dominate the U.S. 5-cent piece for decades. However, in the early 2000s, the U.S. Mint decided to introduce some changes to the nickel's design, marking a new era in the coin's history. By 2004, the U.S. Mint unveiled a series of new nickels as part of the Westward Journey nickel series, commemorating key moments in American history, such as the Louisiana Purchase and the Lewis and Clark Expedition. The new designs were a departure from the traditional Monticello reverse and brought about a modern, historical approach to U.S. coinage. These new designs were met with mixed reactions from the public and collectors alike, as the U.S. Mint was trying to balance tradition with innovation in a changing world. The year 2007 was a turning point in this coin design series. In 2007, the U.S. Mint released a series of additional designs, all part of the Westward Journey series, that featured new depictions of the iconic Jefferson nickel. While the front of the coin remained largely unchanged, showing the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the reverse design was altered to show a new image of Jefferson's home, Monticello, but with significant design updates. In 2007, something unusual happened. The U.S. Mint released a new set of nickel designs for that year as part of a special set of coins marking the 200th anniversary of the birth of Thomas Jefferson. This set, while a part of the ongoing Westward Journey series, included designs that would prove to be revolutionary in ways no one could have predicted. As the coins began to circulate, collectors began to notice something strange, a potential error in the minting process, one that would cause certain 2007 nickels to be far rarer and far more valuable than others. The 2007 nickel featured a particular issue where a portion of the design was not properly struck onto the coin, resulting in a noticeable error that would change the course of history for this seemingly ordinary coin. The issue stemmed from a variety of factors. One of the key elements was that the dies used to strike these coins were slightly misaligned. As a result, some of the 2007 nickels were minted with the reverse design shifted in such a way that part of Monticello, the building itself, was completely absent. At first, this might seem like a minor error. However, in the world of numismatics, even the smallest imperfection can turn a regular coin into something of immense value. And that's exactly what happened with the 2007 missing Monticello nickels. With part of Monticello missing from the reverse design, these coins were now considered minting errors, and minting errors often carry significant appeal in the world of coin collectors. Now, let's pause for a moment and talk about why such an error makes the 2007 5-cent penny so special. Minting errors are one of the most sought-after types of coins for collectors, as they are rare and often not seen in the normal course of circulation. These mistakes are often seen as flaws that add to the uniqueness and appeal of the coin. Errors like off-center strikes, double dies, and missing elements are highly prized in the numismatic world because they cannot be reproduced. making them a true collector's treasure. So, how did this particular error go unnoticed for so long? After all, a missing part of a famous landmark like Monticello is not something you'd expect to overlook. The answer lies in the production process. The U.S. Mint produces millions of coins each year, and it's not uncommon for small errors to slip through unnoticed, especially in a coin as small as the nickel. For most of us, we wouldn't think twice about a minor shift in a coin's design. But for collectors, every detail counts. Over time, the true rarity of the 2007 missing Monticello nickels began to be recognized. The error was spotted by observant collectors, who realized that this particular variant of the coin was strikingly rare. And when coins like this become known to the public, their value starts to rise. As with most rare coins, the demand for this particular 2007 nickel began to increase, and it didn't take long for the marketplace to react at first. The value of the 2007 missing Monticello nickels wasn't immediately clear, as many collectors weren't aware of the rarity of these coins. However, as more and more people began to search through their collections, and as more examples of the error started to surface, the value of these coins soared. A 2007 nickel that had the missing Monticello reverse could, under the right circumstances, fetch upwards of $92,000. That's right, this simple, everyday 5-cent coin with a subtle error could be worth thousands of times its original value. Why does a coin like this fetch such a high price? The answer lies in its rarity and the appeal of the error. These coins are not common. Even in a sea of 2007 nickels, the missing Monticello coins are hard to find, and even harder to find in mint condition. Coins that are well preserved, with little wear or tarnish, fetch a premium price. And for collectors, the excitement of owning a piece of numismatic history, the story of a minting mistake that became a treasure, is part of the allure. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rare 2007 nickels in your own collection? The key is to carefully examine the reverse side of the coin. If you look closely and notice that Monticello appears to be missing, or that it's significantly smaller than it should be, you might be holding one of these rare coins. However, it's important to note that not all 2007 nickels are part of this error series, so it's always wise to consult with an expert or get the coin professionally graded if you suspect you've found something special. The story of the 2007 missing Monticello nickel is a reminder that even in the world of coinage, mistakes can lead to something extraordinary. What began as a simple error turned into a coin of immense value and historical importance. For collectors and enthusiasts, the 2007 5-cent penny is a shining example of how a small change in design or minting can create a piece of history, and how a coin that was once just a small, everyday nickel can become a treasure worth thousands of dollars. So, the next time you find yourself flipping through your spare change or sorting through your coin collection, keep an eye out for that rare 2007 nickel with the missing Monticello. Who knows? You might just find a piece of history worth more than you could ever imagine. It's the early 1980s, a decade of immense cultural and political change in the United States. The country was facing new economic challenges, navigating through a shift in global power dynamics, and experiencing dramatic advancements in technology. Yet, amid all this upheaval, there was one small piece of American currency that would go on to capture the imaginations of collectors and numismatists for years to come. That piece was the 1983 1-cent penny, a coin that would, in time, rise to become one of the most valuable and sought after in U.S. history. Now you might be thinking, a penny? Really? How could a simple copper coin be worth so much? Well, that's exactly the story we're about to dive into. While the 1983 penny may seem unremarkable at first glance, especially given its resemblance to the other millions of pennies minted around the same time, it's actually part of a rare phenomenon that has made it one of the most valuable coins on the market today. And in this video, we're going to explore how this seemingly humble coin earned its place in the spotlight. To understand the significance of the 1983 penny, we first need to take a step back and look at the broader context of U.S. coinage during the early 1980s. By the time 1983 rolled around, The penny had undergone several changes since its first introduction back in 1793. The coin had seen various designs, changes in materials, and a host of other minor updates to keep up with the times. However, by the 1980s, there were growing concerns over the cost of producing pennies, especially with the rising price of copper, which had been the primary metal used in the penny's composition for decades. In fact, the U.S. Mint had already started experimenting with alternative metals as early as the 1970s. By 1982, they introduced a new formula for the penny's composition, replacing the older 95% copper blend with a combination of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. The reason for this change was largely economic. The rising cost of copper made it increasingly expensive to mint pennies with a high copper content, and the new zinc-based penny would help lower production costs while still maintaining the coin's familiar look. But not all pennies produced in 1982 were made with this new composition. Some of the 1982 pennies were still made with the older copper mixture before the mint fully transitioned to the new design. As a result, there was a short window during the year when both copper and zinc pennies were being minted simultaneously. This created an interesting anomaly, one that collectors would soon begin to notice. In 1983, the U.S. Mint produced a significant number of pennies using the new zinc composition. However, a small number of these pennies were struck with the older copper composition, a mistake that would go largely unnoticed at first. To the untrained eye, these two types of pennies might seem identical. But to a coin collector or a numismatist, the difference between a copper penny and a zinc penny isn't just about appearance, it's about value. Now, imagine this: you're going through your loose change, maybe sorting through a jar of pennies, and you come across an unassuming 1983 penny. It looks just like every other penny in your collection. It's copper-colored, it features Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse, and on the reverse, the iconic Lincoln Memorial is proudly displayed. But what if, by some stroke of luck, the penny you just found is one of the rare copper versions, not the more common zinc version? The value of that coin has just skyrocketed, and the discovery of such a penny could make you thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars richer. So what makes these copper 1983 pennies so valuable? As you might expect, the value lies in their rarity. Remember, the change from copper to zinc occurred over the course of 1982. But not every penny struck in 1982 was immediately made with the new zinc composition. Some coins, especially those minted in the early part of the year, were struck with copper. The exact number of copper 1983 pennies that were mistakenly minted is unknown, but the rarity of these coins is what makes them so desirable to collectors. While the 1983 copper pennies are already rare, finding one in good condition is what really drives their value. Most pennies that circulate are worn down, scratched, or tarnished from years of use. However, a penny in pristine condition, unblemished and with all of its details intact, is worth exponentially more than a coin that shows signs of heavy wear. In fact, even a coin that's only lightly worn or shows minimal signs of aging can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. This is why coin grading is so important when it comes to determining a coin's value. Coins are graded on a scale of 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. In the case of the 1983 copper penny, a coin that has been graded as MS65 or higher, meaning it is in near-perfect mint condition, can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. But it doesn't stop there. Some collectors are willing to pay even more for a coin that is in exceptional condition, pushing the price even higher. You might be wondering, how does a coin like this go from being worth just 1 cent to reaching astronomical values? Well, the answer lies in the world of numismatics, a world where rarity, historical significance, and condition all come together to create something of immense value. The 1983 copper penny has all the hallmarks of a rare collectible, and as collectors around the world have become aware of this particular variety, the price of these coins has skyrocketed. In fact, some 1983 copper pennies have been known to sell for as much as $106,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that correctly, $106,000 for a penny that, in all likelihood, you could have found in your pocket or at the bottom of a change jar. The sheer value of these coins, especially when they are in mint condition, highlights just how much the world of coin collecting can elevate the value of something that most people would dismiss as mere pocket change. But how do you know if you have one of these rare pennies in your collection? Well, the best way to tell is by closely examining the coin's composition. The copper pennies have a distinct weight and color compared to the zinc pennies, which have a shinier, lighter appearance. If you're not sure whether a penny is copper or zinc, there's a simple way to test it. One method is the magnet test because zinc pennies are magnetic, whereas copper pennies are not. Another way to tell is by looking at the edge of the penny. If you see a silver-colored core inside, it's a zinc penny. If the penny is uniformly copper-colored, it could be one of the rare 1983 copper pennies. Finding a 1983 copper penny is rare enough, but finding one in mint condition, one that's been preserved for decades, can make all the difference. If you're lucky enough to find one, you might just have a small piece of numismatic history on your hands, one that's worth far more than a single cent. As the 1983 copper penny continues to rise in value, it serves as a reminder of the unpredictable nature of coin collecting. A small, unassuming coin can go from being a forgotten piece of pocket change to a highly coveted treasure. It's a reminder that, in the world of numismatics, sometimes the most valuable items are the ones you least expect. So, next time you're sorting through your spare change or hunting through your coin collection, keep your eyes peeled for that rare 1983 copper penny. If you find one, it might just be the find of a lifetime, and who knows? You could end up with a coin worth over approximately $100,000, forever changing the way you view that humble little penny. Top 4 in the year 2021. A simple 5-cent coin, the U.S. nickel, was minted with an understated, yet surprisingly valuable twist. Now, you may be wondering, how can a mere 5-cent piece have such significant worth, especially when it's just a tiny part of your everyday change? Well, in this video, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2021 U.S. 5-cent nickel, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, but which holds hidden value and rarity that could be worth up to $65,000. To understand why the 2021 5-cent coin became a subject of high interest, we first need to take a journey back through the history of U.S. coinage, particularly the nickel. Since its creation in the mid-19th century, the nickel has become a staple of American currency, commonly known as the 5-cent piece. The nickel's journey through time has seen it become one of the most enduring and important coins in the United States. The first U.S. nickel was introduced in 1866, a product of the U.S. Mint's desire to provide a smaller, more affordable coin for everyday transactions. Originally designed with a shield on one side and a wreath of laurel on the reverse, the coin evolved over time, with many iconic designs such as the Buffalo nickel and the Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel, featuring the portrait of President Thomas Jefferson and his home, Monticello, was first introduced in 1938 and became one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, with very few changes over the decades. But by the early 2000s, the Mint began experimenting with redesigning U.S. coins to reflect more modern historical milestones. In 2004, the Mint started the Westward Journey Nickel series, which commemorated the Louisiana Purchase and the Lewis and Clark Expedition. This was followed by the 2005 to 2006 series that celebrated the 200th anniversary of Jefferson's birth. By 2021, however, the Mint was looking to strike a balance between tradition and innovation, maintaining the legacy of Jefferson's image while adding new layers of design. The 2021 nickel is significant for a number of reasons, both in terms of its design and its role in continuing the legacy of the Jefferson nickel. But before we dive into its design and its minting details, let's set the stage by looking at the state of the U.S. economy and the Mint's goals for the year. The world was still feeling the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021. With supply chain disruptions, shifting economic landscapes, and a world that was changing faster than ever before, the U.S. Mint had a unique challenge in producing coins during this time. The nickel, along with other coins, faced challenges in distribution as the pandemic led to a decrease in coin circulation. This period also saw increased demand for rare and collectible coins, as many collectors and investors sought out historical pieces in the wake of global uncertainty. ASA result. The 2021 nickel, though just another year in the production of U.S. coinage, became a key piece in the broader narrative of U.S. coin history. But it was more than just a typical nickel. It was a coin that represented change, not only in its design but in the way collectors viewed it. Let's talk about the design of the 2021 nickel. The obverse of the coin, which features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, remains largely unchanged from previous years. However, the reverse side of the coin is where things start to get interesting. In 2021, the U.S. Mint introduced a new reverse design, continuing a trend of modernizing U.S. coins. The reverse of the 2021 nickel depicts an updated version of Monticello, Jefferson's iconic home, shown in a more detailed and dynamic style. The coin was designed by artist Jamie Franke and was part of the ongoing modernization of U.S. currency. While the coin's design might have seemed straightforward, the true significance of the 2021 nickel lies in its minting process. The mint used new techniques and technologies in the production of these coins, resulting in subtle variations in some of the 2021 nickels, particularly regarding their strike and metal composition. It was these variations that would eventually make this otherwise ordinary coin something much more special. You see, in the world of coin collecting, small imperfections or unique characteristics are often what make a coin incredibly valuable. This is where the 2021 nickel gets interesting. Like many coins, the 2021 nickel saw an increase in collector interest because of small production errors or differences that made certain coins stand out. A small number of 2021 nickels were produced with slight misstrikes, unusual metal content, or other unique characteristics that made them particularly desirable. The rarity of these mistruck coins, when discovered, sent collectors into a frenzy. One such error involved a misalignment in the minting process. Some of the 2021 nickels were struck with an off-center design, meaning that the image of Monticello appeared misaligned or partially off the edge of the coin. While such errors are often dismissed by the general public as defects, in the world of coin collecting, they are considered precious gems. Off-center strikes, double dies, and other minting imperfections often carry a premium in the marketplace because they are unique and irreplaceable. As more and more collectors and dealers began to identify these misstrikes, the value of the 2021 nickel began to soar. In addition to the misstrikes, another factor that contributed to the value of the 2021 nickel was its condition. Coins that are well preserved, with minimal wear and tear, often fetch significantly higher prices than their worn counterparts. The 2021 nickels that were struck with rare characteristics in mint or near-mint condition quickly became prized items among collectors. The scarcity of these coins only increased their desirability, as collectors began to recognize the potential for these nickels to become highly valuable in the future. So, what makes the 2021 5-cent penny so valuable today? For those lucky enough to possess one of these rare, mistruck coins in pristine condition, the value can be substantial. Collectors have reported that the most sought-after 2021 nickels, especially those with off-center strikes or other unusual features, are currently valued at approximately $65,000, though the final price can vary depending on the condition and specifics of the coin's rarity. For a coin that was originally worth just 5 cents, that's an incredible leap in value. But how do you know if you have one of these rare coins in your own collection? The best way to start is by examining the reverse side of the 2021 nickel, where the Monticello design is featured. If you notice that the image appears off-center, or if the coin seems to be missing part of the design, you may be looking at a rare mistruck coin. Coins with a faint or partial image of Monticello or any similar oddities should be carefully stored and considered for professional grading. The excitement surrounding the 2021 nickel isn't just about its value in monetary terms. It's about its place in the story of U.S. coinage. This coin represents a moment in time when even the smallest imperfections could become part of history. As the years go by, coins like the 2021 nickel will become more and more sought after by collectors who understand that sometimes It's the flaws and the unique qualities that make a coin truly valuable. In conclusion, the story of the 2021 US 5-cent nickel is a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting. What might seem like an ordinary coin to most people is, in fact, a hidden treasure in the eyes of collectors. From its design and minting process to the errors that make it rare, the 2021 nickel exemplifies how something as simple as a 5-cent piece can become a piece of history worth thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. So, next time you find yourself going through a jar of spare change, remember, that small, unassuming nickel in your hand might just be more valuable than you ever imagined. And there you have it, the incredible stories of 4 US coins, each with its own unique history, design, and surprising value. From the rare 1975 penny to the remarkable 2021 nickel, these coins prove that sometimes the most ordinary pieces of change can become extraordinary treasures. If you enjoyed learning about these valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with your fellow coin enthusiasts. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for your own hidden treasures.